physical childhood, the primary schooler. So, the physical development is in infants and toddlers refers to the physical and the motor skills that emerge throughout the first 3 years of life. Girls begin their growth spontaneously at the age of 9, while boys begin at the age of 11. At this age, children's ability to accomplish both gross and fine motor skills, such as riding a bike and cutting their fingernails, tend to improve. And boys sport surpass girls in the gross motor skills. So, this gain in motor abilities are to brain is linked by the brain develop and experience throughout this stage of life. The characteristic. So, physical growth is lower than during infancy and early childhood. Muscular coordination and control is uneven and incomplete. Significant increases is fine motor abilities and eye-hand coordinations. Observed between the ages of 6 and 8. The frontal lobes that mature between the ages of 10 to 12, resulting in advances, the logic, the planning, and the memory. So, Van der Molen and Molinar 1994, one element that causes that this growth is myelination between the age and 6 and 12. The nerve cells in association areas of the brain which integrate sensory motor and cognitive function. So become virtually entirely myelinated. So the increases in information processing speed and reactions time are both aided myelination. Factors affecting development. Sexual intercourse inclinations, particularly among women, are among the factors that influence this age group's physical development. It alters the body development in reaction to biological living forms found within the body. So, meanwhile, continuous elements such as the rise or decrease in a food diet may play the role of initiation. The physical activity also the development for decades. Psychologists have debated whether infant development is a result of nature or nurture. So, most people agree that both are important biological factors are referred as nature. The environmental or interpersonal variables are referred to as nurture. The gender, health, and prenatal care and the diet are all biological influences. The cognitive development. These qualities and skills have an impact on relationships with others, objects, and the environment. These lessons will describe infant and toddler physical development and provide an opportunity to consider the importance of physical development for infants, toddlers, and adults. The characteristic of the cognitive development is that the age of children understand past, present, and future concepts, allowing them to plan and work towards goals. They can also handle complicated ideas like addition and subtraction, as well as cause and effect of relationship. Factors affecting development. A child's home's environment, the amount of time taken to teach the child new skills, and how well the child interacts with others may all play a role. Children who have been abused or neglected may have average or even above average intelligence, but they may develop more slowly. Those raised in a nurturing environment with attentive parents or caregivers often develop more quickly. There are also certain disabilities which can severely hinder or impact cognitive development in children in the middle childhood. Socio-emotional development is also by the same time most children will have started to be capable of making sense of complex emotional content present in interpersonal situations. As they start to notice other people's conflicting emotion driven behaviors is the begin to appreciate the reality of mixed and complex emotion. The characteristic of socio-emotional development. As children practice interpreting people's complex emotional displays, their talking abilities and their empathy skills increase. Children's perspective talking abilities involve their capacity for imagining what other people must actually be thinking and feeling and appreciating what it must be like to see and feel the world from the perspective of other people. Affecting development of social emotional development. So the children make great strides in the terms of ability to recognize emotion in themselves and others, control their own emotions, and to communicate about emotions both expressively and with language. The late childhood, the intermediate schooler. So, the definition of the physical development. The late childhood spans the ages between early childhood and adolescence, approximately ages 6 to 11 years old. Children gain greater control over the movement of their bodies, mastering many gross and defined motor skills to eluded the younger child. So, changes in the brain during this age enable not only physical development but contributes to greater reasoning and flexibility of thought. So, school becomes a big part of middle and late childhood, and it expands their world beyond the boundaries of their own family. Birth starts to take center stage, often prompting changes in the parent-child relationship. General characteristic of the physical development. So, a sensitive and self-conscious kid or girl is the norm. He or she shows a lot of daydreams, and if is sometimes forgetful, this stage of development causes a student to withdraw from the others and engage to innovative thinking. A student's intellectual abilities, skills, and specific interests begin merge. So, this fact underscores necessity of paying special attention to understand unique abilities, inclinations, and preferences. The factors affecting development to the physical development. Of course, sex difference have a significant role in the physical maturation's outcomes. Nutrition and good health are crucial variables in physical growth and development, where the two aforementioned components combine to generate the current body frame which influence physical growth so that ectomorphic slender younger weigh less than mesomorphic have heavier children with a mesomorphic build grow faster and reach puberty sooner than those with an echo or endomorphic build. The definition of cognitive development. This study and gradual change in happening children at this age, especially with their increasing familiarity with schoolwork and other possible activities, provide them with greater opportunity to develop their motor skills functioning. So, the general characteristic of cognitive development. Many of the bodily structures like the liver, muscles, skeletons, kidneys, and the face are follow a normal curve of development for both girls and boys. Increase in the body fats also occurs in preparation for the growth that occurs during earlier in girls' quantity. Factors affecting development to the cognitive development. Puberty changes start when the brain triggers the production of sex hormones. Children with a mesomorphic build grow faster and reach puberty sooner than those with an echo or endomorphic build. The definition of social-emotional development. The late childhood are also able to include other people's appraisals of including parents, teachers, peers, cultures, and media. Internalizing others' appraisals and creating social comparison affecting children's self-esteem, which is defined as evaluation of one's identity. The characteristic of the socio-emotional development. The children can have individual assessments of how well they perform a variety of activities and also develop an overall global self-assessment. If there is a discrepancy between how children view themselves and what they consider to be their ideal selves, their self-esteem can be negatively affected. Factors affecting development to the socio-emotional development. So, if a student believes that he or she is incapable of math, then the student is likely to attempt the math homework regardless to the student's actual ability in math since self-efficacy of self-constructed, it is possible for students to miscalculate or misperceive their through skills, and these misperceptions can have complex effects on student motivations. C. The adolescents, the high school learners. So the definition of the physical development is although some of the physical changes that happen during adolescence are internal and not visible, others can see so easily by others. These obvious changes in the body can affect how adults and peers of both sexes view and treat young people. So, the general characteristics is that the changes that occur both inside and outside the body during adolescence happen through a process called puberty. This process stems from the release certain hormones and chemicals in the brain. These hormones released are the same in all adolescents, but differences hormones levels lead to different results in males and females. So, the factors affecting development. So, during this growth spurts, bones and the muscles get longer and stronger, which allow adolescents to take on tasks they were likely not able to do as younger children, such as lifting heavy objects and walking, running, or biking long distance. Many young people will reach their full adult height by the end of puberty. Beyond the growth spurts, other physical changes that happen in both males and females include body odor, acne, and more body hair. The definition of cognitive development. During adolescence between 12 and 18 years old of age, the developing teenager gains the ability to think systematically about all logical relationship within the problem. The transitions from concrete thinking to the formal logical operations happen over time. So, the general characteristics of cognitive development is the adolescence marks the beginning development or more complex thinking processes, also called formal logical operations. This time can include abstract thinking, the ability to form their own new ideas or questions. It can also include the ability to consider many points of view and compare to debate ideas or opinions. That it also include the ability to consider the process of thinking. The factors affecting development. So, on cognitive development, when emotional issues come up, they can add an additional level of complexity. For an adolescent's cognitive reasoning, the ability to consider possibilities, emotions, and facts may impact decisions making in positive or negative ways. The definition of the socio-emotional development. By providing a kind environment, it helps to encourage optimal brain development as well as social connections and collaborations. In the other words, the cell affects learning by shaping children's developing neural security, particularly the executive functions, though. The characteristic of the social emotional development is during adolescence between 12 to 18 years old of age, the developing teenager gains the ability to think systematically about all logical relationship within a problem. The transition from concrete thinking to formal logical operations happens over time. So, the factors affecting development to social emotional development. When emotional issues come up, although they can add additional level of complexity for an adolescent's cognitive reasoning. The ability, emotion, and facts may impact decisions making in positive or negative ways.